Hello everyone, welcome back to Layout. Here's the layout update. Last one I believe was in January of this year, so I think we're a little bit overdue. But anyone who's seen my latest running video knows we've done some scenery work. But before we get to that, I'll start off at this building. I've completely redone the interior. Still in the process of it, but we got new floors, walls, and ceilings, all custom cut out of styrene. The restaurant beneath here, I was watching several of Boomer Diorama's videos on how he did his actual diner, so I've incorporated some of that. A little hard to see through here, so I'll just put in some photos in the edit so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. The chairs, booths, tables are all custom 3D designed in Blender and then 3D printed on my resin printer. The entryway back here has a scratch-built styrene stairwell that goes up to the second floor. I also did a styrene stairwell for the door back here going up to the second floor. That will be a Masonic Lodge with the lodge itself up here in front. And this side part will be a lounge area. You can kind of see the stairwell there a little bit. Then there's yet another stairwell in the back that you can kind of see out of these back windows to the top floor, which will be the Masonic Lodge's kitchen, dining area, offices, and other storage. It was a good little month-long project to get it to this point. I finally got to a part where I was like, okay, done working on this, so I buttoned it up a little bit, taped things down, and put it on the layout. Other work that you can kind of see since the last layout update was at least some base scenery, if you will. At one weekend, I finally got sick of just staring at bare plywood, effectively. And so I painted the wood a nice tan color, put in some Woodland Scenics ground cover that I had purchased for the previous layout, installed several trees from previous layouts, painted and did some weathering on the roads. Of course, we ballasted the track after that, installed some LED lighting from Woodland Scenics that I had from the previous layout, went out and got this billboard. I'm really liking how this scene turned out. I'm liking the height that the trees provide and a little bit of a scenic block, but you can still see back there, so it seems to provide some decent realism and decent depth. And then one thing I did with this forest, you'll notice, is I didn't like that everything was flat, even though that was part of the layout design. So I built up some topography with some foam and paper mache-like product, and then did a little cutout for the track going through there. Over here, we put in a little gravel road / lot. I put in the BLMA yard office, and then this Woodland Scenics pre-built substation that will eventually connect to the glass factory, which is actually prototypical. I did see the glass factory that I'm modeling did kind of have its own little substation or distribution station. No real work has occurred here on the glass factory other than the base scenery and ballast, but that's okay. Maybe I'll be working on that next, who knows. Moving on over here, the station hasn't made much progress other than some of the crossing grades are in but not glued down yet, so they move around. And then I added some platform lights that I think I'm going to modify. I'm going to put a cover on them. These are the Woodland Scenics ones, and right now all the light seems to go up and away instead of down and around, which is what I really want. Replacing the structure back here, the original one that I had from Wolters was just far too modern for what I wanted, especially now that I got the Rapido reefers here. So I went out, got the Wolters cold storage kit, and I'm going to kit bash that into a flat background building. I've just been kind of playing around with the what the layout would look with that. Moving on over here, got some laser cut structures. At least one of them I think is from Bar Mills. So we have Selena's Tavern over here, and then Red and Fred's Hamburger Grill. I was kind of looking for some small structures or something to put in this area now that we've kind of changed the layout, the idea, right? Because originally this was going to be a road that went in front of this yard. that went all the way through here and then back out here, right? Well, since, right, the last layout update, I put in this little runaround siding, which has been absolutely fantastic for operations. And then, of course, I went a little bit further and added this little rip/storage track, which has been really nice just to have another parking spot for equipment to kind of show off and get out of the way, so I wasn't just parking it on the runaround for the yard. But anyway, I needed to have something here. I wanted to have something here to kind of break up the main lane and the yard, and still have a reason for the road to come through here and over here. So we'll model it like the road actually just was cut and ripped out, and the railroad added the runaround and storage track, and then the road, of course, will still go to the locomotive facility. Latest projects have been passenger cars. I got a lot of inspiration with the arrival of the Rapido Dome Lounge cars for Southern Pacific. As anyone who has them has noted, beautiful cars. I'll get people into them eventually. The arrival inspired me to finally fix this BLI triple unit diner. The way it's designed from the factory, it has a drawbar between the cars. It sits on the truck. The drawbar just uses a little bit of a, kind of like a nub off the drawbar. Long story short, these cars separated really easily, so I cut off the nub, drilled out a hole, and used some KD screws and nuts to hold that drawbar to the cars. So now this is one solid unit that will not come apart probably ever again. I will go back in and likely super detail the dining car and the coffee car or whatever. Just hadn't gotten around to that yet. And then the other train that I'm working on is this, what I'm calling a City of San Francisco Limited, kind of a fictional train since I don't want the entire city of San Francisco. I got these 2 Walters coaches, factory installed lighting and people. I do not like the lighting. The only reason I got this particular version of the cars is because that is what the local guy had. We will get some people installed in this Rapido 3/4 dome. And then I got 2 Walters sleepers and the blunt end sleeper. For these Walters cars, I painted the interior, the chairs, the walls, added people, added window shades, and anti-flicker lighting, LED lighting. The lighting is intentionally very dim, so even though the lights are on right now during the day, you can't really tell, but at night you do get a nice soft glow from the interior lights. Similar / same treatment here for the blunt end sleeper. And then, of course, I had to do the full light package here in the rear with the lighted drum head. So we can see on this Cascade blunt end sleeper that I also picked up, I used an NCE Light It, so I now have independent full control of the green marker lights, the oscillating red light, and the red marker lights. The drum head is just off of track power. The interior lighting is also off of track power with a capacitor and bridge rectifier for some anti-flicker lighting. And then, of course, because I got the Cascade blunt end sleeper and it needed some friends, I was on eBay, and someone happened to be selling these Athearn Genesis 77-foot chair cars. So I bought these 2 cars, and then I have several heavyweights in similar paint. And then these are all currently being pulled by the Rapido SD7s that recently came out. Beautiful models, great detail, great molding. Yes, I know the paint for the orange is wrong. Oh well, I'll see what I do about that. I may fix it by making these fantasy units and putting Northwestern Pacific instead of Southern Pacific, because that's kind of where these units ran anyway, and I do have some functional Northwestern Pacific stuff. Here we can see the other Athearn Genesis chair car that I have, putting people in it. I'll probably pause the passenger car improvements for now. I'm getting a little burnt out, mostly with installing all of the figures. I get the Preiser unpainted set of like 70, I think. So I have to go in and paint all these figures and then install them. So I may put that project down for a bit and just enjoy running trains or working on structures. So that should be everything I have this time around. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, do whatever, and I'll see you next time.